Good morning and welcome back to the Adventures of Mac Anthea and part 3 of autumn jobs around the farm. In today's video you'll see footage of stormy high winds, planting of new trees, and finally the picking of the olives and taking them down to be weighed in at the local olive factory. Okay, so they seem to be dripping away well there, so we're going to give that time to get all the air out of the pipes and give this bank a good dousing and see how well it works. In the meantime, we're going to go and replace the tree down at the bottom. We're going to be lazy, we're going to use a digger. What's the point in digging by hand when you've got a digger? So I'm going to get that down there. Anthea's already waiting for me, and just replace this one new tree. Okay, so that's all it is. We're replacing this. We've replaced this twice. First time water from the drain over there, continuing problem, came flying down and drowned it. Second time we have to take responsibility. We overwatered it and drowned it. So this is the third tree in here. Now normally when I plant trees, I'll dig almost a metre cubed hole if I possibly can, even for a tiny tree. The reason being for that is to make the soil nice and soft around the root ball, so that the new roots can easily spread out as quick as possible into the soft soil. I haven't done that this time because this has been recently replaced. We're going to replace it again. The soil's really soft anyway, so we've just really dug enough just to get the tree in. Okay, so we're going to put this tree in. Now when we first put the trees in, we actually used lines and line them in. Obviously that's not so easy once we've got things going, we just replace them. So what we do is we just sort of eye them in, put them in the hole more or less, eye them with the tree that way, best you can see, grope on them, and eye them trees back that way, but more or less there at that. Okay, so we normally try and put the top of the root ball at least 25 centimetres below the surface of the soil. The reason for that is because when we go with the plough, we don't want the plough interfering with the roots. Okay, so that's that one in. What we do is we don't fill our hole in completely. What we do is we just sort of put the soil a little way over the top of the root ball. The reason being is we want the water, when we put the irrigation system on, to get straight down to the roots straight away and give it the best chance it has, or we possibly can give it, to take and get the roots moving. There you go, job done. Okay, so that's us done for today. We're going to leave those potatoes watering. What I want to do is I'm water them just off that 200 litre grey tank you can see there. There's a bit less than 200 litres in that because there's a great big bolt in the bottom to stop the roof from blowing it over. But what I want to do is I want to move this grey tank back away from the bank a bit so I can complete this bank here and remove the weak spot for flash floods. So anyway, we're quite happy with what we've done today. We didn't get started first thing early, but this was the first job we did today. The other day, we got fed up with it pretty quick. We'd had a lot of running around to do food shops and this and that. And we find if you don't get started with it first thing in the morning, it just isn't happening. You know, it's really hard work to start it, you know, sort of 12 o'clock midday, start doing work then. So we always try and get started out of bed straight down here and start with the work. Okay, so it's Saturday again, so we're going to go home, chill out a bit. And I'll probably pop down later once this tank's emptied. morning and welcome back to the Adventures of Mac Anthea. Today's Saturday morning. We were going to have a bit of a lazy day because it's meant to be really windy today. But it looks like the wind's dropping a bit and we think we're going to go and get a few little jobs done down at the farm. We're currently preparing for the olive season. It looks like it's going to be a little bit earlier this year. Most of our olives are ready, and with all the wind that we've been having, a lot of them have been ending up on the ground. So we've just popped down to pick the ones up off the ground, because obviously if it rains we're going to end up with a right bloody mess. So hopefully you can pick it up on the camera there. You can see there's quite a few little olives that have come off the tree here. We're going to get these picked up. They all look pretty good still. I'll just hang on. They're pretty good and full, you know, they're perfectly good olives, and with everything being so expensive, olive oil wise, they're certainly worth picking up. So we're going to have a wander around and get on with that. Okay, so we've done on the top level. We've just come down to start on this bottom level here. These trees have been in a bit longer. These were put in April 2019. I'll probably try and find a bit of B-roll of when we were actually feeding this tree at the start of the year. But these are doing quite good, quite a lot of olives on them. We're not expected to make big money out of these. These are sort of trees I planted as an investment to receive sort of good income in like 10-15 years later. It's a case of giving us a little bit of annual income from olives, but also as we get older, give us something to do. A reason to get up in the morning basically and get on and do something once we're sort of proper retirement age. But you can see some of them have really come on quite well. I'll definitely find some B-roll because I pruned these heavy, really heavy this year, and I was a little bit worried I'd overdone it, but when you look at them now, they've all gone mad again. Some of them are absolutely full of them. Okay, so Anthea's going to start at one end. She's already started, accusing me of skiving with the camera. So start at one end, I'll start at the other, and we'll meet in the middle. Good morning and welcome back. Today's Saturday morning and we're back down the farm doing a few odd jobs. Yesterday night, Friday night, we had big plans for today. We were going to bring down a generator and the pump, fill the water tank at the top and water the top level. And then whilst that was going on, we was going to come down the bottom and pick some olives. However, I don't think we had the greatest of nights. We've woken up this morning, neither of us feel that great. So we really want to do something which we can start, and then if we don't improve, we can actually just pack up and go home. So what we're going to do today is we're filling the top tank anyway, but we're not bothering dragging around generators and pumps. We're just going to start picking the olives down on the bottom level. So in a minute I'll turn you around and I'll run you through what we've got to do. So as you can see, there's a lot of olives on here. They're getting ready to pick. They're regularly sort of starting to fall on the floor now, so it's time to get these off. Now, under normal circumstances, I've worked in large teams in the past to help out one of my customers who's short of staff one time. But under usual circumstances, you'd put nets down, probably about 4 nets, one either side of the first 2 trees. You'd knock the olives off and then drag the nets along the row to the next set of trees. But our trees aren't really there yet. They're not really big enough. We could put the nets down, we've got them. We could knock the olives off it into the nets and then scoop them up and put them into the buckets. But there seems little point with being so small. So what we tend to do now at this stage is we just sort of get a big bucket, we've got one over here, sort them, dip the branch into them, and then use these little rakes to rake the olives into the bucket. I just don't see the point in knocking them into a net and then picking them up out of the net and putting the bucket when I could do it sort of more of a direct approach. So it looks like Anthea's already started. She's picking them by hand by now, but she's got a little yellow rake. Go and have a quick look. She's on a tree that doesn't do particularly well, so there's not a lot on this one. But do you want to show me your little rake? There you go. It's a little rake, and all you do, yeah, you got a few off this one.
Show me this one.
Yeah, she'll just give you a little demonstration here. Yeah, so you just sort of hangs them down and aims them down into the bucket as best you can, either with the little rake or her hands. Later on, we'll buy the electric machine when we've got a lot more. And you know, invest in the machine to do this a lot quicker, but we're just at the stage at the minute. Originally when we put these olive trees in, these went in 2019. It's really a sort of 10-15 year investment. We're not really expecting to get big money off them or anything for like 10 years when we start to get some cash in from them. Okay, so we're going to get on with that and we'll bring you back in later. Okay, so there we have it. That's almost full from 26 trees, one of which was one we only put in the other day, so it's only really 25 trees. That's a really big gorilla bucket, that one is, compared to these standard ones. So I don't know what the weight's going to be with that, but we're going to call it a day today, and we'll come back tomorrow and do the top. Good morning, welcome back. It's the next day, Sunday morning, and we're going to continue on picking the olives at the top level. But first we're going to play a little game that we normally play when we finish doing a level of trees, where I check Anthea's trees to find how many olives she's missed, and she checks my trees to see how many olives she's missed. So we're going to get on with that, and we'll bring you back on with the results. Okay, so how many did you find? So Anthea found 7 on her trees. Let's see how many I found on hers. Oh.
I left them there for you.
Yeah.
So I won.
Anthea thinks you won because you, no, I think I won that. Anthea's got this theory. She seems to think we pick them one day and then they quickly grow overnight again. Oh, Anthea? Yeah, there's another one I just spotted on your trees.
Oh, you missed that one.
Yeah, she's got this theory that they grow back overnight. I think it's one of those cases you could go over them again right away now and still find more. You could be going on forever, but we've got the most of them anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these sacks in the wheelbarrow. I'm going to try and wheel it up this slope, which is quite steep up to the top, and then we'll start on the top ones.
Get those legs moving. Go on, put your back in it.
Not a good start to the morning.
Nearly there. Yay, you made it.
Okay, so I'm going to let Smart Ass do the level bit in the little slope. Go on, push. Push, put your back into it, come on. Yeah. Okay, so we're at the top finally. I'm still puffing a bit. We've got 27 trees to do up here, but 3 of them are freshly planted, so we're not going to expect to get much off them. So basically this is just going to be a repeat of before down below. So we'll get picking and we'll bring you back in and show you how much we've got. And then we're going to be going off down to the olive factory to weigh them in. Okay, so we'll get on with that and we'll bring you back in a bit. Okay, so we're almost done at the top here. I'm just going to do this little tree here. This was actually a refugee from a customer's house. It was growing exactly where they wanted a pillar footing digging. So they wanted me to dump it, but I took it and gave it a new home. Not my favourite breed. It's going to probably, if you don't know about olives, there are actually 262 different types of olive here in Spain. Most of them are unique to different regions, and only about 14 of those breeds are actually grown commercially for olive oil and for table olives. I normally use Picual. I like Picual, it grows fast. It doesn't need cross-pollination, it self-pollinates, it's really hardy, it takes some killing, and it's got big olives on it, which come off really easy. They're not difficult to harvest. This tree, on the other hand, is what they call an arbequina, which, look here, they've got a lot smaller olives. They're almost like little sweeters on here, and they are a real pig to get off. If you're using a harvest machine or whatever, you have a hell of a job knocking them off the tree, but actually using a machine. That said, they are a very good oil. I mean, just because you've got a big olive, it doesn't mean you're going to get big oil. A lot of that, certainly with Picual, is actually water and is going to be wasted. So these, even though they're smaller, almost, got a really high content of oil in them. So they do make a really good oil. This type of arbequina, I don't want to rattle on too much because it's a bit boring, but this type of tree, even though it can grow quite big, is really well suited to stony, poor soil, where you can grow it almost like a bush rather than a tree, which is sort of what goes on with the land around here and why it is used sometimes, because you just grow really like a giant olive bush and it will spread out quite wide. I mean, this one I haven't even watered. Okay, so enough rattling on about that. We'll finish off and we'll bring you back in at the end. Okay, so as it turned out, that little tree that we neglect to never give any care to had a hell of a lot of little olives on it. I'll just zoom you in a little bit if I can, if it's going to stay in focus. You can see the difference between the Alberquina, which is very small, and the Picual, which is quite a large one. The Picual, incidentally, are called Picual because they've got a point, derived from the Spanish word pica, which they use for point, or a point of something, or even a sting of an insect. So yeah, that's why they're called Picual. Okay, so we transferred them back into the big bucket. You can see sort of lying on the bucket there, it's not so much as yesterday, but still half decent amount. So we're going to put them in the sacks and we'll have a little trip down to the olive factory. I was thinking Sunday it might be a bit quieter, but Anthea's pointed out something, that is, people who have weekday jobs often come down at the weekend and harvest their olives, so it may be busy, we don't know. We'll go and check. If it's too busy, then I'll get down there early tomorrow morning. Okay, so we're on our way down to the olive factory. It's only about 1 kilometre out of the village, or out the other side of the village. We quickly had to nip home because we'd forgot to pick up the windfalls that we collected off the ground the other day. Hang on a minute, just go on these beds. Yeah, we've got to collect the windfalls and we needed them to add to it, obviously. So we'll get down to the factory and we'll bring you back in when we get down there. We'll see how busy it is. Okay, so we're going to be at the olive factory in a minute, and it's time for us to play another game we play called Guess the Weight. I'm going to go and say 60 kilos. What do you think?
65.
65, okay, we'll see. And here we are. And it looks like nobody's here. Okay, so they go down into a hopper, which is also a scales. So that'll weigh them. The guy's just got off with a bag to take a small sample of them to assess quality. And then he'll give me a ticket with the weight on. The weights will come up here in a minute. Up here on the screen up there. Okay, I'll bring you back in a minute.
Well?
Are you ready? 59 kilos.
Oh,
I think I win.
only just.
Okay, so that was 59 kilos. To give you some sort of perspective of how much oil that will turn out to be, that would be about 10 litres. Now, it seems like a lot of work for 10 litres of oil, but at the minute, 5 litres of oil is fetching around 45 euros. So that's 90 euros of oil for that little bit of work we've just done there. Now, obviously, the olives produce much more olive oil than that. The fabrica, the factory, they don't do it for the love of it, you know. So you can be pretty sure that those olives will actually produce probably about 20 litres of oil. But obviously the olive factory keep half to sell themselves because they've got huge overheads. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this video today. Just want to have a quick last chat about olive oil. This bottle you can see here is a bottle from last year from our factory. Now, people I see regularly put these up for sale on the British forums that sort of serve the British enclaves here in Spain. And you always get some smart aleck pipe up and say, oh, I could get it cheaper from Mercadona. Well, simply put, no you can't. This is not the same stuff you get from the supermarket. Not at all. This bottle's worth about 45 euros. I recently gave these bottles to my mate Mike. You may have seen him in some of my other videos, and he took it back to the UK. And he's been using this, and he says it's far superior to most of the extra virgin olive oils he gets from the supermarket back in the UK. So even though this is a basic olive oil from here in Spain, you will find that the quality and the flavour of this olive oil is far superior to many of the extra virgin olive oils that you find in the UK and even here in Spain. Okay, so all that remains is to thank you for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.